Welcome back, everybody, to the Melanin and Murder podcast. We're on a little week hiatus, you dig? Because real life be happening. This is breaking news. I'm not sure if most of you have heard this, but there is a global pandemic going on at the moment. So if that is news to you, I'm sorry, but you know, things be happening. Your girl had to quarantine for a week.
She quarantined for a week. We're back.
But I'm goody though. I didn't have the viddy.
So welcome.
So
hi guys. So hi. T, like she was saying, we're here for after quarantining for a week. But however, this is our number 10, our 10th episode. So it's a milestone.
It is a milestone. We did 10 episodes. So thank you for listening so far. If you're new, welcome. And thank you for joining us. I'm T Shapri. This is my girl, Monee. And we are going to come to you with some drunken cult and murder stories. So we hope you enjoy. Typically, we start the show off with a shot. So if you're new, pour that thing up. This is for the milestone, this is our first time not drinking tequila for the shot, guys.
What is this?
Cognac.
Okay. That's fine. By the way, I've been drinking a lot, guys. I'm already very drunk at this point. So,
can keep my fit.
We'll see how this goes.
And
cheers.
Can keep my eyes off it. Cheers. Drunken love. All right.
So, you know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's time for our drink of the week.
It is.
Like, you missed 2 weeks, and oh my God, like, we missed 2 weeks, and I was kind of pissed about the hot topics because so much funny shit happened in the week that, like, we were gone.
I know, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
It was the viddy, man. It was the viddy.
Try not, I'll keep it out. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm not sticking to a actual schedule today, so we'll see if I'll bring up some stuff from last week. But I feel like I know one of the things that you don't know that happened, and it was fucking hilarious.
Is that what we're talking about today?
No.
Oh, okay.
We won't, but we'll see if we have time. We'll talk about it if afterwards. We have time, then we'll talk about it.
I am going to make this good old cocktail because here on Melanin and Murder, we have our Murderous mix of the week, which is either something we really enjoy, something that goes along with the theme. Today, it goes along with the theme. A part of my story is, I'll just say Milwaukee.
Okay.
So a popular drink in Wisconsin is the Wisconsin Old Fashioned. So I'm going to make that for you guys.
That's a drink?
Yes. Apparently, if you go to
in Wisconsin?
Yeah. Like this variation.
Does it have cheese in it?
I was like, maybe we should just skip the cocktail and just have a cheese platter, and beer. But that was too much. But yeah, this variation, apparently, if you go to like a Milwaukee bar and you ask for a classic old fashioned, they're gonna look at you crazy because this is how they do their old fashioned. So I was
Milwaukee old fashioned. Well, how do you order that?
No, it's a Wisconsin old fashioned. So that's what you ask for it. You ask for I want the Wisconsin old fashioned.
I'm not saying Wisconsin old fashioned.
You don't have to. Are you going to Wisconsin?
Maybe.
But okay, well you don't have to drink it. You drink whatever you want in Wisconsin.
I love cheese, so maybe.
There you go. But so I was like, fuck it. Let's just try it. Let's try the Wisconsin Old Fashioned for the sake of the story and for the sake of this. We're all going to be trying this together because I've never had this variation of an Old Fashioned before. So for this Wisconsin Old Fashioned, we're going to do something that I absolutely hate with Old Fashions, and that is muddle oranges and cherries together. But you know what? Like I said, we said, fuck it. We're going to try what they do out there. So I have some pre-cut orange slices here, 2 slices of orange and two cherries.
Are those maraschino cherries?
Those are maraschino cherries in a rocks glass. And the recipe calls for sugar and a splash of water, which is just simple syrup. So I simplified it and used it.
We need to be on HGTV, basically. Food Network. Why is there no drink shows on Food Network? Like, there's only food shows on Food Network.
Okay.
Like, I know you're called Food Network, but
drinks are included in that. Can I just say that one of the reasons she's my best friend is because she laughs at my corny jokes, like what I just said, and we're very entertained by each other. So, you know, life. So in your rocks glass, you're gonna muddle the simple syrup, the oranges, and the cherries. Be careful of not hitting the what's funny about my muddling? Did I muddle funny?
No, because it's 4 things in that glass, and this is like why are we like smushing? Like I could take like a rock and be like, burp, burp, burp. It'll be done. Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm taking so long for the muddling.
No, you're not taking long.
I'll speed it up.
You're not taking long at all.
So
it's just like
she wants to take it back to the Flintstones.
I'm sorry. I'm drunk, guys, and muddling is just funny to me. Like funny. The name muddling, it's funny. The name muddling, like doing muddling, is
like
funny.
A mortar and pestle.
It's hilarious.
Mortar.
Like put it in front of me right now. Like
mortal and pestles.
Funnier than Dave Chappelle. Like.
Okay,
hilarious.
That's extreme. Okay,
it's extreme.
So you muddle the oranges
Don't judge
and
me.
the cherries in your whiskey glass. Be careful to hit the orange rind because you don't want that.
You're
like
good at muddling, though.
Bitter.
Like you did that. Like it looks like there was no juice in there, and now there's juice in there.
Now
so
it's
if you're doing this at home,
juicy.
if you don't have juice in your cup, then you did it wrong.
That's exactly what we're going for. So this is actually,
and a lot of you probably don't have muddlers, but if you have something this shape.
There you go, because that's a muddler. This is actually a cognac old fashioned.
She's over me.
So in the glass, you want to add 2 ounces of cognac or brandy, whatever you have on hand. It's fine. You can use the cheap stuff, Hennessy, Martell, all that good stuff. And then 3 dashes of Angostura bitters. 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're gonna stir it up.
Hey, we called y'all broke. She said, I'm connecting myself with her, so like we're together. So she said, if you have blah 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 blah, broke stuff, Hennessy. She called Hennessy broke stuff too. So if you're putting that
Hennessy is nasty, but you use whatever you want. I ain't judging you or friend. Nothing. I am not judging you, but Hennessy.
I'm not even gonna act like that.
Hennessy is
one of the best drinks I've ever had.
Big gross vibes. Okay.
Don't hate us, no, but we also love like I've been to Henny Palooza. I think I at least bought a ticket. Maybe I didn't show up.
Henny Palooza was
Howard Homecoming.
Henny Palooza is a good old drunken time. I mean, I'll drink it if it's in front of me. I'll definitely drink it.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, you're not gonna find Hennessy at my place of
abode.
Residence. So to finish off this Wisconsin, as T-Pain would say, old fashioned. It's either topped off with a splash of Sprite or sour mix, which I thought was strange. So I opted for the Sprite because sour just seemed like
nasty.
Far left. That's right. Left. So a little bit of Sprite on top. I opted to not do ice today because I was feeling in a way. Because I was trying to get lit, and all ice does is water your drink down whenever it melts. You know.
I'm sorry. I just noticed your lashes, and they just look great.
Oh God, thank you. I got them from the beauty supply store. They were $1.99.
They look great.
I'm gonna add more Sprite to yours.
Thank you. Yeah, because I don't need more liquor. I need that
and
more diluted,
that is it.
Guys.
So just stir that up a little bit more, and that is
can
the
you mix my
yes,
that thingy?
Absolutely. I can stir that up for you.
Wow.
There we go. And
guys,
that is our Wisconsin
old
fashioned. And I'm gonna go back now.
Okay, so now is our time for our murder mysteries, or not so much mysteries, but that's why you came here, for Melanin and murder. So
why the fuck you
my story for this week has to do with everything about cannibalism.
Okay.
Because it was a hot topic like these past 2 weeks, honestly.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna take that shot because we're talking about cannibalism,
and
I just no.
Did I take that?
No.
Yeah,
I'll take mine alone.
I did. So let's talk about cannibalism. So there was this one guy. This was early 2000s.
It would be. Was he from Florida? I just have to ask.
No, this was in Germany.
Okay.
Or that type of area, and because his name was Armin Meiwes. Okay, and by the way, I used to date a guy named Armin, and
we actually have an entire episode about it where we thought we both dated the same Armin.
Because why are you a black guy with the name Armin? Because I realized that's a German name. Okay, but we didn't. Anywho, we thought we were Eskimo sisters for a second, but we weren't.
Nope.
Anywho, this guy Armin Meiwes, early 2000s, lived in Rothenburg, Germany, and he was like kind of a loser. He lived with his mom, like still like late into his 20s, early 30s.
Armin was a broke boy.
Basically, like he wasn't like getting bitches left and right because he was like, oh yeah, I live with my mama.
Armin ain't had no hoes.
That's fucked up because the dude I used to talk to, his first name was Armin, last name was Hose. So it's true.
His name
was
Armin
funny,
Hose.
but like that's my life. My life is fucking hilarious. So
his name was Armin Hose.
Anywho,
we really
so this Armin, he was like, he didn't do much, and he was kind of got in a rut, so he went into the military. And he liked the discipline that he had because he had these like deep down like fetishes that he liked, right? That dealt with like being punctual and shit. So he was like, okay, I like this military shit. And then he got discharged for some bullshit. Not bullshit, probably legitimate shit, but nobody wanted him in there because he was acting too weird. So they sent him back home, right? So he goes back to his home, and his house literally, guys, looks like a typical, like, it's a small world. Like, you're in the little boat. It's a small world I'm going through, and it's like, oh, it's Germany. And there's just, like, a little white house with a little brown wood crosses. That's what he lived in. So he's like, his mom was being too stressful. He couldn't really be on the internet like he wanted to.
Wait, how old was he?
He was like 30 at this point.
He was a grown ass man. Mom.
Yeah, no, seriously.
He's like,
Mom, I'm trying to watch Pornhub.
Mom,
like, not before you come into the room, Mom. And
trying to watch X videos.
He was doing all of that. He loved the internet, but then his mom was like being annoying. And his mom had been very abusive ever since childhood. Actually, his mom was very aggressive. His dad like walked down on him when like at a very early age. So he had like some built-in issues. But anywho.
Don't they all?
Later, yes, they all. So then later on, he's like, okay, I'm living my life. And then one day he's at breakfast and his mom, she face plants into her Cheerios. She dies. She died, and he was like, this is my new lease on life. I get this whole house. I get to do what I want. So he does. And so he does that, right? And then he's like...
did she really face plant in her Cheerios?
No, he did. She did.
Oh.
She did. That's what happened to his mom. That's how his mom's died, so you shouldn't laugh at that.
I'm not laughing.
Y'all shouldn't laugh at that. You shouldn't laugh at that.
I'm not laughing.
This is not funny.
I'm not laughing.
This
it's serious.
She put her head down into the Cheerios because that's all she bought. She was like, I'm not buying that fruity shit, that sugary shit. You don't need that. She only bought cornflakes and Cheerios in their house, and I may be making that up, but that's what happened.
Okay.
So then after his mom died, he started to act like a whole fucking other shit.
Acting brand new.
Brand new. He started going to these websites, and he found these chat rooms. This was the early 2000s.
Oh.
And he found chat rooms, girl, that were like, oh, I want somebody to eat me, but not like eat me like smoke my ribs, eat me. And he was like, this is my shit. Like, I want to, like,
turn this up. This is my jam.
Found my people. So he was trying to find somebody. So then he got so many people to come to his house. But then, like, when he actually wanted to eat them, they were like, nah, nigga, I didn't want you to eat me. Like that. I was talking about, like, eating in a different way. So then they left. But he found this one guy who was, like, an Austrian guy named, it started with a B. I don't quite remember. Brian, I don't know. It started with a B. So this is a computer programmer, this cute guy, blonde hair, blue eyes. So he decides, like, he's like, you know, this guy's from Germany. So he's like, oh, a blonde hair, blue eyed guy that, yeah, he's German. Duh. I mean, assuming that his people, like, he was still, like, there at that time. So, like, Nazi people, like, maybe his people were Nazis. He liked the blonde hair, blue eyes, whatever. That's what I got from it.
Right.
So, anywho, he gets this guy to come. The guy comes to the house, and the guy is actually like, oh, yeah, I want to be eaten, so we're going to have a date. He picks the guy up from the train station. The guy comes to his house, and the guy is like, well, this is not really as fly as I thought it was going to be. Like, you look broke as fuck. Like, we're in the country. And he was like, this is not how I envision myself being eaten.
Oh, okay. Because he
was like, this shit is very broke down. This shit is very basic. Like, he gave him, like, schnapps. He gave him schnapps. And he was like, I didn't want no schnapps. Like, I thought I was, like, top-notch. Top shelf bitch. Like, but you want to give me 8. Yeah. So he gave him, like, that basic shit. And he was like, oh, I'm not really into it anymore. But he was like, you know what? If you keep giving me alcohol and, like, maybe give me some, like, sleeping pills, maybe I'll be into it. Because I still really want to be eaten. So, oh, boy gave him all of this stuff. He kind of gets to a point where he's, like, kind of crazy. But still, even though when he's loopy and he's still kind of scared. So, like, when a boy tries to, like, cut his shoulder, he's like, I don't really want you to. But he lets him do it. And he's like, put me in the bathtub. So a boy puts him in the bathtub, and then he goes to his room and reads, like, the Star Trek anthropology and
psychology, philosophy,
anthology. There you go. And not anthropology. Sorry, guys. So he goes to his room and he reads Star Trek. Like, this is for real. So
I'm not laughing.
The next day, oh boy, like, dies in the shower or whatnot. And he cuts up the rest of him and he packages it in his freezer. He writes, like, shoulder, like, you know, like you put, like, pork loin, like, ribs. Like, he puts that shit in the freezer.
He was like Hannibal Lecter for real.
No, he did that for real. He put that in the freezer. So then he goes back online and he's like, oh, I'm looking for somebody new. And then this one guy was like entertaining him, but he was like, oh, I think this guy is serious. And he started bragging on, like, how he had a guy and how the guy, oh, by the way, he put himself on camera. I forgot to mention that's a very important part. This whole part of him carving guy and, like, putting it into his freezer, he put all of that shit on camera. So he would brag about it on these websites, so, like, on AIM, and it's like, oh yeah, I used to, like, and like attach pictures, like, oh, I did this to this guy and I have him in my freezer, by the way, so who's next? And then, like, this one guy, and this one guy was like, oh yeah, I'll do that. And then he was like, this nigga's serious. So he contacted the police and he was like, so then the police started to look at him, and the police went to his house and looked at his freezer and saw the labeled packages of all the body meat. Yeah. It's and then he was like,
labeled shoulder. And
they were like, nigga, you can't do this shit. And he was like, no, but he gave me consent. It's on camera. And they're like, no, but you can't do this shit. So anywho, he went to jail. And he went to jail and he had an appealment case. And he actually won that shit or some shit. Like, they were like, oh, it's not in German law where you can't, like if someone gives consent, can't be eaten. Like, there's other shit. Like, he got arrested on, like killing someone and eating someone for like sexual fulfillment, killing someone for sexual fulfillment or some bullshit. I don't even know. There's some crazy shit. But anywho, they found the loophole.
So there's no cannibalism precedent in Germany.
No, the judge was still like, fuck that shit. You're going to jail for life. So he's in jail still now for life. And he started a green party in his jail. He's very popular in his jail. And all of the guys, and he started this party so that, like, it's with murderers and pedophiles. And they all feel like, oh, we want just the world to be better. And it's better with us murdering people and being pedophiles. Right? So that's my story.
I literally have so many questions, but I get like that's what Google is for.
The
I guess.
long of the short is
okay. So he only
date a guy named Armin.
Did he? That's true too.
That is really true. Because Armin will find your ass.
I mean, look, we both have the same testament.
How did we both have
different
a fucking Armin? And she was like, no, and it was like all the same up until the point.
Light skin,
like I had to show her
curly hair.
Yeah, like think I'll be sure type.
Yeah, like super light skin. Yeah.
But Armin's German.
Just stay away from Armin's is pretty much the moral of the story.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have a horrible situation with my Armin, but like all the other girls that I've ever known that have messed with him was like, oh, he's the worst person ever. And I'm just like, yep.
This Wisconsin Old Fashioned isn't that bad, actually.
Let me try it.
I'm actually cool with it. I wouldn't like ask for one if I was somewhere, but like if I made one again, which I'm doing right now because
it's very good.
It has like a little sweetness to it. The yak and the oranges go well together. The Sprite,
the cone and the yak.
The cone and the yak. But like I said, this is all tied into my story of the day, which is actually, it's so long, I decided to make it kind of like a series. So there's going to be different parts
I like it.
to it, to be continued type of thing. So what we're going to talk about, it's tied into sports, you guys. So it's all, I love a theme. It's all themed in together. The Green Bay. This is exactly why I'm wearing a baseball jersey, because I don't have a jersey of any of the people I'm talking about, but I do have a baseball jersey on if you're just listening. But the Green Bay Packers played today. Today is Sunday, January 24th, and they lost.
Oh my God.
But so we're going to talk about we're going to talk about the Straitway Truth Ministry and how tons of NFL players have been entangled into this cult, because that's what it is. It's a cult, right?
This is interesting.
Yeah, it is. There's just so much stuff that I didn't know. I was reading it like, oh my God, this is happening. So the main, I'll try to do it in, I guess, like players, basically, like each player that joined this cult, because there's multiple that like all have a story that's all intertwined or whatever. So today we're talking about Kabeer Gbaja Biamila. I always trip over his name. KGB is what everybody called him while he was playing. Not the Russian KGB.
That's what I was thinking.
Not the Russian KGB.
He's a KGB?
KGB. He was a Packers player for a very, very long time. Broke all types of records, this and that. Grew up, didn't grow up, but he was like devoutly Protestant for much of his...
Was he black? He's white.
He's black. He's black. He grew up...
he was Protestant?
Mm-hmm. His dad was Muslim. I think his mom was Christian or something, or Islam. I don't know. But he was Protestant, so he was like a good old religious guy. He actually, like, while he was playing, so he had 8 kids, like a little background on him. He had 8 kids. Yes, with his wife Eileen. With his wife Eileen.
I'm surprised.
And I mean, if you didn't know that much about him, about KGB while he was playing in Green Bay, you would have thought that he was just your average, like, family guy, like, really good family man, religious man. He had kids, he had a wife. He donated a lot of money to charities and food banks. He offered his time to a local homeless shelter. And people were just like, oh, he's like a genuinely good dude. And so with the Packers, he always... So with NFL teams, when you see things like them doing stuff out in the community, there's actually a kind of a list of players that they always go to. Like, hey, Deshaun, will you show up to the community in this event today? But like, there's certain players that will always say yes. Sometimes they get paid for it, sometimes they don't. But he was always on that list, and he would be like, yeah, I want to do it. So he was always in the community, and people saw him. But when he was out there and talking to people, they would notice like things would take a twist, like they would take a left turn, and he would start talking about religion, and they were like, ugh.
Weird shit.
Yes, like a weird shit. So the signs were there, right? Okay.
I thought it was some hood nigga, but I thought of weird nigga.
No, weird nigga.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Like weird. Like all the signs were there, like all of them. So it was kind of strange to me that nobody really, but I mean, I guess what are you supposed to do? Because you don't really, even if somebody's kind of teetering on that line, you don't really expect like, oh, this nigga's gonna join a cult now. That's not the first thing on your brain, right? So what are you supposed to do? Like, how do you help? You can't help. There's nothing wrong with them per se. They're just weird. Doing the most.
Just weird.
Yeah, well.
There's a lot of.
So
I don't think y'all weird, but don't think about it. Like, you're weird. Like, I'm okay to say like I'm weird. Like, she goes like, oh, she's
I'm weird, but there's different
like,
levels.
Like, Negroes don't ever like to think that they're weird. Like, you have some weird shit about you. Trust me.
So he was like one of the. He actually decided to stay in Green Bay post-retirement, which is very rare for black players because it's Milwaukee.
Who stays in Green Bay?
Exactly,
if
but
he
was one of the few that actually decided to stay. So that's a thing. While he was playing, there were signs there among the team. He would constantly argue with his teammates about religion, ones that were of different religions. So he would argue with his Jewish teammates. He would argue with his Mormon teammates about religion. So the Packers chaplain, he would often get in heated discussions with, and he actually asked the chaplain, who was a priest, to what do you call it whenever you switch over to Christianity, convert. That's yes. God, words.
That's it. That's why
we just we be needing that an adult,
I wouldn't
like
have
a
said
responsible.
Anything. I would have been like, yep.
The switch. What you call it when people switch over?
Yep.
To something
that.
Concavity. Xfinity and Comcast. So he asked okay. So he asked, his name was Father Jim, the chaplain. He asked Father Jim if Father Jim would convert to Christianity, and he's like, well, no, but like whatever.
Oh, he asked a priest if he would convert. He asked a
priest if he would convert.
A Catholic priest if he would convert.
A Catholic priest if he would convert.
I know you like far into this shit and you got like a white collar and shit, but I'm just saying, are you open to being a Jehovah's Witness though? It's just like, what the fuck?
Bean pie, my brother. So a lot of times,
are you open though?
Are you open? Are you open to it? I know you're a priest and all, but like, how can
do you like beans?
How married are you to this idea?
On a scale from 1 to 10, on a scale from 1 to 5, how much do you like beans?
How much do you like beans?
And how much do you like them in a pie?
My brother.
How much do you like saying my brother?
My brother. Father Jim.
Okay.
So a lot of the times,
that's fucked up. A
lot of these conversations would happen on the team flight back from away games, and he would somehow every time make his way to the back of the plane. find Father Jim, sit next to him, because Father Jim would be like up, like reading and stuff like that, and he would just they would start having a conversation about religion.
Father Jim knew he was just like, I don't got time for this shit, man.
No, he didn't. And so usually on the flights back to whatever city they're flying to, most of the people on the flight are asleep. Father Jim would be one of the only ones up, but then they would start this like heated, obviously on KGB's side, arguments about religion. And KGB would kind of bring up other people within the organization that were of other religions. So he would bring up like these two members of the Packers organization that were Jewish. And so he would be like, they're going to hell because they're Jewish. Like if you, like it's on you, Father Jim, you have to convert them to Christianity because they
only are reading half of the Bible.
Well, no, he would be like, well,
the Old Testament. It doesn't stop with Moses.
Can I tell my story?
I'm sorry.
Thank you. He would be like, it's you are liable if they go to hell, because they are going to hell because they're Jewish. So when this happens, like, this is your fault because you didn't convert them to Christianity. So at this point, the teammates are waking up and like shit, but they were kind of used to it because they're like, oh, there goes KGB. He's doing his thing that he does again. And it got so bad that the Packers president actually offered Father Jim a seat in the executive rows of the team plane. So for those of you that don't know, whenever
he deserved it.
Huh?
After all of
he
that.
did. No, he did. So for those of you that don't know, on like in the NFL, when they fly away on the team buses in the team plane, there are like reserved seats for the executive people, the team owners, the general manager, head coach, team president, so on and so forth. So you can't go, like, you can't even go up there if that's not you. So for him to be like, hey, you want to come, you come up here and sit with the presidents and the owners and stuff. And Father Jim was like, nah, like, this is my job. This is what I'm here for. Team chaplain is supposed to be here for those types of questions and discussions and everything. But and let it be known that that type of weird shit was going on, right? He was known to, this is a quote that I wanted to say because I thought it was very funny. So with his teammates, like I said, he would get in heated discussions about shit. He didn't do anything. He didn't curse. He didn't drink. He didn't smoke. He didn't sleep around. He believed in the sanctity of marriage.
He definitely did sleep
around. So if one of his teammates were getting a divorce, he would basically tell them that they were going to hell.
Yeah.
And like things like that.
That ain't right.
And if you like, if
they had a priest as a chaplain,
if you know an NFL locker room, you have to understand how awkward that situation had to be to have somebody like that in there, because that is one of the like most not disgusting, but I mean, you know, like it's fucking NFL men, like they talking about what they did last night when they was at the club and they showing each other pictures of Instagram and stuff. Yeah, and you talking about you're going to hell. All this fornication and the temptation that you're doing. So basically, they're like, he's like, oh, you're divorcing your wife, you're going to hell. So he in an interview, he's like, yeah. Some guys talked about the girls that they slept with or the club they went to. I just wanted to talk about Jesus. That was my love. Jesus.
Wait, who was saying this? Oh boy.
KGB, yes.
KGB, okay.
That he was the one that said that.
Mm-hmm.
There was like one time at a summer camp during Packers summer time during the Packers training camp, he actually got in a heated argument with Aaron Rodgers. Everything.
Wrong one.
Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of the Packers.
We gotta bring that on one of our episodes too. We gotta talk about him.
Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Melanin and murder.
Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong one.
Not Aaron Hernandez.
My bad.
Guys, Aaron Rodgers has never heard a fly. If you're unaware.
We don't know. He probably heard a fly. He probably heard like some mosquitoes and shit.
Maybe.
But
possibly.
He wasn't like a
murderer.
And Aaron.
Hernandez.
Yes. A murderer, A Hernandez.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he wasn't that.
So there was something that happened with Aaron Rodgers. Argument reached a boiling point, and Aaron Rodgers, who would actually be in Bible study with KGB, he like washed his hands of him, and he was like, "This is it," because KGB said if the locker room blew up, 99% of y'all would go to hell.
I want to know who was the person that he thought was the 1%. Was it just himself?
Him.
Okay.
Literally just him.
I mean, I get it.
So he was like, I remember Aaron Rodgers turned on me. He said, if this is what a Christian looks like, I don't want anything to do with it. Obviously. So in his personal life, I think he had 5 sons, right? And then his first daughter was born, and he didn't want anything to do with her. It's really sad. Of course. I'm sorry. So because in his head, like his religion is very misogynistic, and
was he Muslim? I don't mean anything. I'm sorry to any Muslims. I don't.
Yes. Partly. Yeah. He took on a whole bunch of different. It's like he had a gumbo pot of religions. I feel like, but he just made his own. He picked and chose what he wanted from each religion.
Misogyny, yes.
He took things like very, very literally, and that's how he ended up in this cult, right? So as far as his daughter being born, that's when a lot of people started to feel like he started changing. Yeah. And he didn't want the girl. He said that women weren't created in the image of God. And then he wanted his wife and his daughters to start wearing head coverings. So he started researching head coverings for women. And he went down this rabbit hole. And that's when he found the Straitway, whatever I said before, the Straitway Church Truth something. So he found that, and Pastor Charles Dowell's YouTube videos that basically confirmed his misogynistic.
I mean, he didn't have to go. He didn't have to search that hard to find some misogynistic shit.
No, but this particular pastor that spoke all of the things that he was thinking, like he doesn't like women. He thinks you shouldn't drink, smoke, have fun, laugh, cry, like everything. He was against everything. So he found this, and that shit spoke to him. Pastor Dowell preaches that homosexuality is an abomination and it will get you to burn for all of eternity. And he thinks that using pharmaceutical drugs is sorcery.
Of course.
He actually, Pastor Dowell in this church, he was one of the people that was part of the 5G conspiracy, that 5G is the reason why COVID-19 exists. And he preached that a lot of female troubles come from wearing earrings. So, if you're a man and you're listening,
I low key agree with him though. Because the only trouble I have right now is that this one ear is itching because I have very sensitive skin.
He's talking to men
because of
He's talking to men that wear earrings because they're effeminate.
Oh,
so the
men
reason
that wear earrings, not women.
No, the
reason
I thought you
why said women that wear earrings. And I was just
no.
He might be
the reason why these men are having trouble with women is because they wear earrings. Yes, that is part of his preaching. So KGB read that and same way was like, this is my shit. With an earring now. Turn this song up. I love this shit. I want to be a part of this, right? So he wanted to be a part of this so badly that he was so like super protective of his kids, his family, and everything. But when Pastor Dowell came along, so mind you, the Straitway Ministry has different affiliates across the country. They have 13 affiliates. One of them is in Tennessee. So KGB was like, I'm going to send my kids to you in Tennessee, and I want you to teach them how to work the land, and I want you to teach my wife how to be a biblical wife. How to be a biblical wife. I want you to tell her about polygamy so I can have multiple wives.
Tell her that there need to be other bitches in our house.
I want you to teach her
that I need other pussies.
I want you to teach her how to submit, and I want you to teach my kid and my daughters need to wear head coverings, and they need to be able to submit too, and all that good shit. And a lot of his friends and family were like, no, that's actually not a good idea. I don't think you should just ship your family off like that. Mm-hmm. And his wife, Eileen, she was fighting it. She's like, no, like I'm not submitting. And I'm not sending my kids off to Tennessee with some random pastor that I don't know. And he was like, no, it's happening. And this was in 2017, right? Yeah. So he went to work one day, and Eileen, she was gone. She left. She took the kids. She took the kids and she left. She took the kids.
Especially because he was calling her a pussy. And like.
And she didn't. You made that up. No, you made that up. Mm-hmm. Oh, you just said that. He never said that.
I did learn that from Netflix. So there was a show that the history of swear words was my favorite show because I love cursing, and
that's a good show.
Was on pussy, and it was like men used to call their wives their pussy. It was like a pussy cat, like oh pussy. So that's how it first got introduced into women, by the way. So. Like my husband was like, oh yeah, like you're my. I was like, nah, nigga, I'm not. Mm-hmm. But I'll call other people's wives pussies.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, you're a pussy. Like that's who she was.
God, yeah.
She was his pussy.
To him.
Okay.
So that's she left. So he's like, what the fuck? And he's all confused. He has no idea where they went. Like, no fucking clue. Because she didn't leave a note, nothing. She took all 8 of those kids and left. So he's like, what the fuck? I don't know what happened. Fast forward. This is how this shit kind of came to breaking, and how this is like a TBD, to be continued until next week, part of this story. So in 2019, don't quote me, I don't know. There was this I don't remember the name of the academy. I really don't want to get it wrong. Providence Academy, right? That's where 2 of his kids went. Providence Academy is Christmas time. It's December. Providence Academy is having this Christmas play, and they're in the church, and a lot of people are in there. They're falling in. Everything's great and jolly and happy. Mr. Ron Young, he's a headmaster at Providence Academy. He's like, oh, this is so beautiful. All of these people here, they have kids here, right? And then these 2 random white dudes with blonde hair with random like jackets looking all suspicious. They walk in. They obviously don't have kids there. Terrorists. He's like, something's afoot. And they sit like close to the front, close to the stage, and they're just sitting there, and they're quiet, and they're stern, and they're serious. And he's like, this is strange. Like, why? What are these people doing here? So Mr. Young is frantic, and he calls 911, and he's like, hey, there's 2 guys here. And he's trying to be nice about it because he's a really nice guy. And he's like, there's 2 guys here, and they don't belong here. And 911 is like, well, how do you, like, what's the emergency, sir? Like, what do you mean they don't belong here? And he's like, well, and he's recalling this conversation that he had with KGB earlier that day. KGB was very upset that his 2 kids were performing in this Christmas play.
Of course.
And told him, quote, I don't want to get the quote
script
wrong.
Was
because
not
this
right.
The
script was horrible.
No, this is open quote. He was like, he's angry. He's like, you don't need to worry about me. Black people don't shoot up schools. White people do.
I mean, he's right.
But so these 2 random white men who are a part of the Straitway Ministry that KGB is a part of shows up at this school play looking suspicious.
Stop it.
So Mr. Young calls the police, 911, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I know. And he tells them the conversation. And they're like, well, who is the person? And he's like, KGB. Police show up immediately, arrest the 2 random white men that were in there, because KGB was like, white people shoot up schools. When they arrested the 2 white men and searched them, they found a semi-automatic rifle, extra ammunition, and a 9-inch knife. At a school play for children. For children. So they put them in the car. KGB randomly just so happens to show up while they're being arrested and was like arguing for their rights. He was
arguing for those guys' rights?
Yeah. Exactly. And he tried to excuse it off and was like, oh, I only sent them here so they could get proof of my kids being here against my will. I didn't want my kids to be in here. I would have shown up myself, except I didn't want to cause a scene because I'm KGB and I play for the Packers. And all of the members of our church, Straitway Ministry, carry guns. So that's like nothing to be alarmed about of why they're neither of those random white dudes were registered for firearms. So exactly. So that's how messed up these people were. And that is part one of the Straitway Ministry. There are other NFLs that are NFL players that are intertwined in this story and that have done crazy stuff. But I'll continue this story next week so you know what happened with this. And that is that on my story.
That's crazy.
So
that's crazy. I don't know if any of y'all watch SNL, like when Tracy Morgan was on it, but he used to have this character called Brian Fellows.
That's crazy.
And he'd be like, that's
hang
crazy.
up the phone, bird. Just like that.
Why is that bird talking to me? That's how I felt. That's how I felt. But
tune in next week, guys, for the rest of the story because it's a lot. Like, it is so much, and it's very interesting how these NFL players get intertwined in a cult post-retirement. But that's it for our cult/murder stories for the week.
Don't do it.
We're going to hit y'all with some hot topics real quick just to kind of keep you updated and give our thoughts about what happened on this glorious week of Joe Biden's inauguration.
Let me see. I mean, I thought about wearing something festive this week, but I only have like 2, 3 pretty interesting things. So one that kind of goes along with the reason I chose the story about cannibals, which is
Cannibals.
Armie Hammer. Have y'all heard about what happened to him like in the past 2 weeks? Like it kept going. I wanted to talk about this last week, but Armie Hammer. So Armie Hammer, you know, the glorious 90s actor, white guy. He was definitely in the news this past week on suspicions of being a cannibal because like all of his ex-girlfriends kind of came out and was like, we're really scared. Like I was really nervous with this nigga because he was like talking about one in particular. I have the DMs. Let's read it. Armie says, I'm so hard. Thinking of holding your heart in my hand and controlling it when it beats. I am 100% a cannibal. I want to eat you. Fuck. That's scary to admit, B. I never admitted that before. I've cut the heart out of a living animal before, but never a human. And one girl he talked about like chopping out, he was like, oh, I just want to cut off your toe and like keep it in my pocket. So one of his exes was like, oh, so yeah, like he's really into some weird shit because like one time we were having like about to have sex and he was like right above my vagina and he took a knife. Like he was into BDSM, but like knife play, but he actually like carved into her.
Oh fuck no!
And
baby.
he put like right above her vagina an A. And she was like, I didn't want to seem like I was scared or whatnot.
Bitch, fuck you.
She's like, I didn't want to seem like,
no.
I didn't want to seem like, you know, I didn't want to seem like I couldn't handle it, but I could. So she just put it out there, you know, but she was like, she has this A and she was like, I have to get a laser to remove it. But a bunch of girls have been confirming his weird fetish. And that was that same girl, the girl that he carved an A into, who said, like, he talks about
like Hester Prynne A or
like the letter A.
I know, like Scarlet Letter A. Was that the significance or
whatever he could do with his? I don't know his handwriting, but he tried to do it above her vagina.
Okay.
So then she was like, he even tried to find an LA doctor to like take out like her lower ribs, any ribs that she wouldn't need, so he could smoke it and eat it. So, yeah, cannibalism, right? So that's going on with Armie Hammer, which is very sad because he's a very attractive little white man. And
I'm just whatever. What's the next topic?
So speaking of attractive little white people, DaniLeigh, you know, we talked about her. DaniLeigh, just relax your mind. You know that song. That's her most popular song.
She's trying to get me riled up, aren't you? You're trying to get me riled up. I see what you're doing.
A girl. I mean, it was a hot topic of this week. Or being like the girlfriend of the.
You didn't even know she was white.
I did not know she was white. Like I thought. So that goes into it. So I'm glad you brought that up because here's the thing. So DaniLeigh, you know, the girl that says like easy with Chris Brown, she dates the baby or whatever. The baby has 2 baby mamas. The baby, who is a dark-skinned black man. His 2 baby mamas who are dark-skinned women. He has kids that are dark-skinned. DaniLeigh this week decided to come out with a song called Yellow Bone, talking about he really want a yellow bone.
That's what he want, a yellow bone.
That's what he want, a yellow bone. I'm telling you, the most trash song I have ever heard. But I'm going to play this for y'all.
No. Don't play him that shit. Fuck that. We're not giving her no. Brian's going to play it anyway. No, turn that shit off. Turn.
Phone, that's just what he wants.
No, we're not giving her no radio play. We're not giving her no.
Right?
No.
Okay.
No.
So
first of all, she's giving me big Ice JJ Fish vibes.
By the way, she posted her little video in her closet with the yellow wig. Maybe it's blonde, but it's yellow. I don't know, yellow or blonde wig that says yellow bone, that's what he want. And a crown emoji, flower emoji, lemon emoji.
So if you're just
caution sign emoji, yellow
DaniLeigh
heart emoji.
is a white Dominican, and she decided to make a song celebrating and championing light-skinned black women.
That part.
Or just fairer-skinned women in general.
I'm usually on like the hot topics part. T was on top of this because I came across that story.
I was so mad.
Like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, I thought she was from DR, right? Like, isn't she from Dominican? Like, what? I remember B. Simone saying that. So I was like, okay, let me Google this girl's parents. Yo, this girl's parents look white as the fuck.
Her parents are white and like Hispanic.
Then I found some tweets with her saying,
I sent that to you.
Oh my God. No, not the one where she was like, oh my God, I look like a black girl, y'all.
I sent that to you.
Well, I went down a Twitter feed.
Yes, so she was like, she tweeted one time, oh, ha, 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 I look like a black girl. She literally tweeted her 23. I know. She literally tweeted her 23andMe results, and she was 21% of African ancestry. So she's white.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
If that's the case, I mean, I should claim white.
Exactly. I should be white, right? Exactly. You should be.
Because I'm like 30% white.
You should definitely be white.
White.
And then she deleted it.
I'm a white girl, guys.
But
don't call me black.
Anyway, moral of the story is we don't fuck with that colorism bullshit.
Period.
Bullshit. But we definitely don't fuck with colorism bullshit from a white girl or from anybody that's not fucking black. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. And again, like I said on my Instagram story, anybody that takes up for this bitch, still loves this bitch, agrees with this bitch, you can block the fuck out of me. Sorry for my language because this shit pisses me off. And again, I'm talking to you black men. Because where do you think these little girls get the confidence to act like they do and step to black women this way?
I really can't stand like these niggas that like
black men.
Subscribe to the shit, and you have whole daughters that are brown skinned, that are dark skinned. Like, what are you saying to your daughters? And the thing that
pissed me off the most is that she doubled down on the shit, and she was like, y'all mad at me.
She doubled down.
Y'all hating on me.
Oh yeah, so I wanted to go into that. Exactly.
Even though y'all have songs that celebrate other skin tones all the time. Bitch, no, they don't.
No, like, girl, like,
no, they don't.
The fuck out of
light
here.
Skin is not a personality trait. It's not superior to anything.
And you're not even fucking light skin, like you're white.
You're white.
So then
but
she
even
says,
if you were, it's not superior.
You're
to
white
anything.
with curly hair. Like, there's lots of white people with curly hair, girl.
That hair is fucking fake.
So she says,
did I show you a picture? We're gonna post a picture of her before she was.
She says, why can't I make a song for my light-skinned baddies? Question mark, question mark. Why y'all think I'm hating on other colors when there are millions of songs speaking on all types? Why y'all so sensitive and take it personal? God damn. With a brown skin emoji girl going like this.
So, again, bitch, you wrong. You ruined your own career. Now you're going to be on an island with Daniel Caesar.
I don't think she will,
Good
honestly.
luck.
No, I don't. I mean, because Daniel Caesar wasn't really canceled. And also, she, like, the same with Doja. Like, she'll be right back. She'll be fine. Well, I mean, the shit is, like, one thing she was right about is that you can't cancel me. And she was right about that. Like, we can't cancel her, but...
Well, bitch.
Because people will be right on her side. Because although people may say out loud, like, oh no, I don't subscribe to
people,
that shit.
This one was different. This one was different. This one was like super internet outlash.
I get
like people banded together.
I feel like she's still gonna be right there. Right the fuck there.
She didn't have a good enough career for her to be saying shit like that in the beginning. And people were like really celebrating DaBaby's like ex, who's beautiful and a brown skinned girl. BT dubs, but we have given I've given this bitch more energy than she deserves. So do you have any more hot topics, or is that it?
Yeah, just one more. Just the very last one was, it's just very something funny. It's really quick. Kyle, my husband brought this up to me.
Resident husband Kyle.
And it was about how Miguel auditioned. Do you remember the show called Blowing Up? Blowin, comma, up, colon, Fatty Cool. Do you remember that on BET?
Mm-mm.
Girl, it was like a wannabe making a band, but it was like, oh, we Fatty Cool. First off, that name is trash. It's called Fatty Cool. Anywho, they had like, it was like a wannabe like S Club 7. You remember S Club 7?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry. This is all like
my very weird ass. I like 6th grade, 5th grade was very much so into the S Club 7. They had a show on like ABC Family, which is now like whatever. Anywho, S Club 7 was like this group that had like 7 people in it. Obviously, it's the 7, and they were like a mix. It was like 4 boys, like 3 girls, and that's kind of what like Fatty Cool was. So Fatty Cool was like it was like 3 guys that all looked exactly the fucking same. They all were like the same early 2000s gear, and I could not tell the difference between them. And then like one white girl from like Russia, and then like a cute black girl, and then this like older black woman who was like, could be old enough to be their mom, named Velour, and she always wore velour. So...
Jesus Christ.
So, anywho, they were like, at some point on that show on BET, they were like, oh, they're trying to add another person to the group. So they had like they added fucking Miguel. So this kind of like research, it comes up every few years on Twitter. They added Miguel to the group, and they were hating on how the fuck they thought Miguel wasn't talented and he shouldn't be in the group. So he auditioned. I just wanted y'all to hear Miguel. That's what he sounded like.
Wait, so...
Okay, so she was like this. Hold on. Let me put it on this part.
Miguel's overconfident. Yeah, he's a great vocalist, but what the hell is he doing? Yeah, he has a beautiful voice.
He's overconfident.
But I'm not impressed.
She was not impressed. She was not impressed.
I would love to be in that. Again, I would love to be in that position.
So they had the song Chills when Miguel was the lead of the song.
So they were just hating.
They say he was doing too many runs.
Aww.
So anywho, after this came back up, and everybody on Twitter was like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, they really said Miguel didn't have potential. He was doing too many runs. They not impressed by Miguel. They didn't want him to be in the group.
Imagine.
Bruh. So, oh girl, T, look at this. Look at this white refrigerator in the background. with the Fruit Loops on
if
the top of
if you have a white refrigerator, I'm so sorry. I have
so
a white
she
refrigerator.
said all of this.
It's fine.
For y'all to think I'm doing worse than Miguel, I doubt it.
She not.
Because I don't have all of the financial or the material attributes that he has. Again, you don't know what that man got to put up with to keep it.
So she said Miguel ain't doing better than Fatty Cool.
Goddamn.
And then last thing, Brianna, I don't even know if I sent you the picture of this, but it was the most hilarious tweet I've ever seen in my life. And they were like, I know they doing down bad because like Fatty Cool has a Facebook page, and they posted a picture of Michael B. Jordan.
Wait,
like
what?
Michael B. Jordan was like young and still on fucking The
The Wire?
And they was like, they say we didn't do nothing, but here's a picture with us with the Black Panther with Michael B. Jordan.
Bruh.
Before all of this.
Michael B. Jordan was on The Wire for like 2.5 seconds. So if that's your claim to fame.
They were like, I know they ain't shit because they talk about this because they was like, because they put hashtag, you can't say we ain't accomplished nothing. The thing they accomplished was a picture with Michael B. Jordan, who was also with Lori Harvey by the weekend. I mean, yeah, by the week, basically. I did say that right. Because Lori, I fucking love Lori. She gets all of them.
I'm sorry.
And she's gorgeous. I live for her.
She is beautiful, but I
live for her doing her 20s thing. Like, do your shit. But
good for you, girl.
Fucking hilarious.
Live your life.
That is fucking hilarious. So
that sounds like the worst thing ever.
Michael B. Jordan.
I hate Fatty Cool, whatever it is.
Fatty Cool. So like their introduction was like, I can't believe you didn't watch that show on BET. It was like bounce, 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 bounce. It was trash. It was very much so trash. It was very trash.
I hate it. I hate it already. I hate it
girl.
In reverse. I hate it in the past. I hate it now. I hate it in the future.
Inverted. If you ever watched Tenet. No, but like the same shit. That old girl. Every time when I saw her video talking about Miguel, all I could think about was Nene. Like way back when on Housewives of Atlanta when she went to meet Kenya and she was like, a white refrigerator, child. Ooh, girl, I just thought, put on some shoes, child. Let's go find you a home. She was like, no that's where Woo Child the Ghetto comes from. Like, Woo Child. Like,
if you know me, you know I don't watch reality shows, so I have no idea what she's talking about.
Everybody, look, even if you don't watch it, you know where the fuck you've heard Woo Child the Ghetto. That's where the fuck it comes from. That scene on Housewives where Nene shows up to Kenya and she's like, Woo Child, the ghetto. And she's like, I know what to think, honey. She had a white refrigerator. The white refrigerator, child.
I have a white refrigerator, guys. It's okay. If you need to talk, okay.
No, old girl was talking about she doing the same as Miguel.
It's
no, she not with a fucking white refrigerator though. No, you not.
It's okay. This is a safe space in my DMs. We can talk about our white refrigerators.
Old girl wasn't doing the same as Miguel though.
No, she wasn't. But Miguel's doing great. I would love to be.
She
in that
had a white
position
refrigerator
to be able
and
to
she
talk
had
to the
some
haters.
Fruit Loops on top of it.
But the show has come to an end.
Yes.
Thank you guys for tuning in to episode number 10 of Melanin and Murder. We hope you enjoyed everything. Tune in next week for more Black Girl Magic.
Yes.
For more cocktails and shots. For more murder mysteries / cult stories. I'm going to continue my story next week. Be sure to follow us on social media at Melanin and Murder Pod.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you subscribe and like
all of those things.
All of the things.
Do
you can
all
find
of
us
those
on
things. Like,
Apple, Spotify, YouTube.
We'll give you $10 if you do it.
And to subscribe. I ain't giving your ass $10, but I'll give you a smile.
I'll give you $10 if you do it.
And keep it pushing. And I may give you a follow if you hit that like and subscribe. So we appreciate you. And
live.
I ain't giving you $10, like I said. So yeah. So we're gonna see you guys next week. And hopefully you're very drunk like we are.
I'm super gone this week. I am just letting you know.
Yeah, I know.
And that's it. So, bye. Thank you. Sayonara.
Peace out, y'all. Thank you.
Peace out. I'm Monee.
I'm Shapri. Goodbye.
Exactly. And have a good week.